Today NIO opened the Oslo NIO House, the first NIO house outside of China, and with that they also announced the pricing of the ES8 in Norway. So in this video I give you the most important takeaways before the market opens and also my views around this. And the biggest announcement was of course around the pricing, and I personally was anticipating that they would price it around 70,000 to 80,000 euros in translation, because that's similar what Europeans are kind of used here to pay for a car in this kind of class, in my views. But it turns out that it actually starts from roughly 60,000 euros, and so that is a big bang in my views. And so stay for this video to know and find out for whom this may be a problem. First of all, there wasn't too much of new information in the presentation by the general manager of NIO. He gave a good presentation in my views. One of the news that they announced, however, is that they're going to build out 20 battery swap stations throughout Norway next year. And so this once again is a big pay into the battery swap system and a commitment to that. And this probably has to do with the fact that they're going to roll out a battery as a service business model also in Norway, and it will make it possible to buy the car without actually owning the battery. Instead, purchasing the battery subscription and making it possible to swap different batteries that will become available. With all of the benefits like the more affordable vehicle price, convenient power solutions, flexible battery upgrades, worry-free battery usage, and sustainable battery life cycle. Now here's a little detail which I found important, which is that the 150 kilowatt hour battery will be available by 2023, and that means this is possibly the hybrid solid state battery which will be introduced with the ET7. So this information tells me that NIO is planning to first start introducing the ET7 in China, possibly serving all of the pre-orders there in 2022 as planned. The information that I currently have is that the launch of the ET7 is on track for Q1 2022, and then possibly preparing actually bringing that one also to Europe, and with this new technology of this new battery. Also, the 75 kilowatt hour battery is only coming later, so they start with the highest one, the 100 kilowatt hour battery in Norway, which gives currently the best range for NIO vehicles. Now this is the big pricing announcement. With the small battery it starts from around 60,000 euros, so this is 609,000 Norwegian krones, and for the bigger battery pack with up to 500 kilometers of range it starts with the 679,000 Norwegian krones. Now NIO brings also their USP and big strength, which is the battery as a service model to Norway. So you can actually get your NIO for as low as 520,000 krones as a down payment, plus the 1,400 per month for the small pack, or 2,000 per month for the bigger pack. And so this brings the price tag actually down to almost 50,000 euros, which is incredibly competitive in my views, which will give you a high performance car with a very fast acceleration for this big SUV, lots of technology and comfort and premium to luxury. And on top of that, as NIO plays it big, service is very important. So you get 6 years of warranty or up to 150,000 kilometers, power home chargers, roadside assistance, free data and so on. And in terms for the warranty, that is actually double of what you will get with buying a Tesla. Now, where does NIO stand here in the competition, and for whom could this be a problem? Let's have a look for the Model Y in Norway here, which has a similar range to the ES8 with the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, and is priced at 534,900 Norwegian krones. So that is roughly 10,000 euros lower than the ES8 in Norway, and this shows that Tesla is the technology leader here and the cost leader. It's more efficient in terms of the range because it's having a smaller battery, but still achieving the same range as the NIO ES8, yet it's priced cheaper. So I think for Tesla, this won't be really a problem. Although, of course, I also have to say that if you get the NIO with the battery as a service, then the price you have to pay in the very beginning is actually lower than the Tesla Model Y. But of course, you have the monthly subscription. But also in the end, this, of course, gives you always the latest battery technology, and you basically don't have to worry about the battery at all. For Tesla, you also have the option to take the performance variant, which is, of course, faster in acceleration and has a little bit lower of a range. but it is still very economical still. So I think the nerdy, the early adopters, and those who are more cautious on the cost side and really like the simplicity of a Tesla will still opt for the Model Y here. And on the other hand, it seems like the NIO ES8 is targeting a different group and more eating the lunch of the German OEMs there. Because if we have a look at the Mercedes EQC, which is a direct competitor to the ES8, it has less range here and it's starting from a base price of 642,000 Norwegian krones here. But actually, if you look like more at the different editions there, it's more towards the 700,000, and that is just without touching even the configurator there. Similarly, with the Audi e-tron, which is also a direct competitor, you will start at around 634,000 Norwegian krones, but that's once again without touching any of the configuration. While the NIO has like really the latest interior, a much better UI interface, much more software oriented, very premium right from the beginning without even needing to upgrade anything. A higher range, a faster acceleration, in my views even the more premium and luxury design, plus of course the unique USP of the battery as a service, including battery swapping. And so I have the feeling that this car and offering here could become a real problem for the German OEMs, not only in Norway but also later on in Europe, because if you once sat in a NIO, and many more people will now be able to experience that, the quality really is top notch, and I have to say it is better than Tesla's. Like if you are sitting in the car, you can really feel this is like business class, and it's having this really quality, almost German premium like feeling and touch to it. And so I can really imagine like how European car buyers who are used to and cherishing this type of feeling and quality will be actually happy to put down a little bit more on the pricing side, but still less than what you can get from the Germans right now in order to buy their first Chinese car actually. So NIO seems to be sitting and positioning right between Tesla, which is more at the mass market and more cost effective, and the Germans, which are priced roughly around 60,000 euros, but more leaning actually towards the 70,000, 80,000 up to 100,000 euros there. And so the ES8 is competing here, I would say, on quality and price in a very offensive and aggressive way here. And I think the pricing seems to be indicating that NIO is going big here in Europe and may actually really pose a problem to some of the more traditional OEMs, which first actually have to catch up with some of the in-car technology that NIO already has right now. And these are just the kind of old cars, you know, the ET7 is coming, the ES8 and so on will also come onto the next vehicle platform. And then it will possibly even become better on things like the NIO Pilot side, but also the charging speed and so on. Plus, of course, buying the vehicle also gives you access to NIO Life, so the community features, the Oslo NIO House, likely many more NIO houses to come in Europe, and now also the introduction of the English NIO app with the announcement that they also go right away into starting their e-commerce offerings. And I think this will be big business in the future for not only Western brands going into China, but also Chinese brands being able to sell to European customers cross-border. That will take more time to come to life, but I'm very excited about these prospects with my background of working in the cross-border e-commerce field in China. And so I think overall this seems to be a very sound package in my views. I'm surprised by the low price which they're entering right now, but still having this kind of premium to luxury touch to it, almost competing more with the Model X on the high side and also the latest European manufacturers there. And so, well, let me know what you think about the pricing in the comments. Please smash a like and see you in the next one.